Over the past couple of months, Arc Raiders has seen a steady wave of new players, and after spending a lot of time raiding, I've started to notice a few common mistakes. Oh, yep. So today, I want to break down 10 mistakes that you might be making in Arc Raiders and how to fix them. If you learned anything from this video, please be sure to drop a like and maybe even a sub. But without any further delay, let's just get right into it. First mistake, not focusing healing health before shield. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make during PvP is focusing on your shield before your health. That's because in this game, your shield is not extra health. Any shield charge you have gives you reduced damage taken until it runs out. This means that if you are low health but have full shield and get shot, you're gonna go down. So you should always try to use your health items first and then shield up after. Quick bonus tip for healing up quickly, you can actually use good bandages, and while you're waiting for it to heal you, you can pop a Vita shot at the same time. This combo makes it possible to heal up to full health in about 7 seconds. Second mistake, you might be using low level guns incorrectly. When you're first starting out, you're most likely not going to have access to high tier weapons, or even leveled up ones for that matter. A lot of early games will consist of level 1 kettles or stitchers, and even though these guns are capable of one-magging people, you shouldn't expect to use them this way. One way that I like to use low-level guns is by chipping away at people and then saving the full mag dump for whenever I know they're missing a bit of health. Pretty much, if you see a shield break, then it's time for the spray down. Knowing how to use lower level guns effectively will definitely help you progress through the early stages quicker. Mistake number 3. You might be using the wrong attachments for dealing with recoil. It turns out that the horizontal recoil in this game is completely unpredictable, which means it can bounce left or right without any warning. Guns will always kick upwards though, so countering vertical recoil is easily done by just pulling downwards. With this in mind, if we use attachments on our guns that eliminate the RNG aspect recoil has, we can shoot much more accurately. Attachments like angle grips and muzzle brakes are going to be your best bet for this. That's not to say that other attachments aren't good, just that ones that deal with horizontal recoil are better. Mistake number 4. Rushing fights without any utility. If you go into a fight against a team that has any sort of utility on them while yours doesn't, you're going to be at a disadvantage. One thing that I used to do a ton was rushing into fights with only my gun out, which would leave me wide open to get shot by anybody paying attention. But once I started throwing a grenade or two before charging in, I started to survive the beginning of fights a little bit easier. If you start throwing stuff, people are gonna move from wherever they are, or at the very least, start panicking about the potential damage they're about to take. This does give you an edge on them until they are able to hide again, but this mini panic time is often enough to down somebody. Impact grenades alone are able to help with this, and they are super easy to make compared to other stuff, so at the very least, you should be bringing these in for almost every raid. You could also use smoke grenades to either bridge gaps between other people, or even just as an escape. So if you've been ignoring utility all this time, you've been holding yourself back. Mistake number 5. Looting too soon after downing someone. A massive mistake players make is looting directly after getting a kill. I can understand wanting to snag that new gun off someone that you just punched, but there is a massive chance other players heard not only all of the gunshots you guys were doing, but also any raider flares. So instead of looting instantly, a better option would be to run around a bit and make sure no one's around by using traps or door blockers to ensure that no one can just run up on you. You have zero vision while in the loot screen, so using these tools can end up saving you more than you think. One thing that you can do if you need heals though, is only looting bandages or shield chargers and then coming back to the body once you know everything's safe. Looting too soon has got me downed a ton of times, so try to be aware of how people are going to react to your fights. Mistake number 6. Holding the same angle for too long. A big mistake that some people make is holding the same angle while repeatedly peeking it. If I notice somebody continuously holding the same angle, I'll ADS while behind cover and then quickly peek out to shoot them before they can even react. One way these players could counter this is by mixing up the sides of their cover that they peek from, or better yet, just moving to different cover entirely. Experienced players love doing the lineup shots on people that don't move, so being aware of this can help you stay alive much longer. Mistake number 7. You might be sprinting too much before fights. Stamina management in this game is huge. If you don't manage your stamina before fights, you're definitely going to run into times where you can't quite make it to whatever it is you're wanting to do. One thing that I've started to do to counter this is jogging before big fights, even though it is slower. You might get to fights a few seconds later than you would have had you sprinted the whole way, but having full stamina for the fight itself is worth the effort. You could also counter this entire tip by having adrenaline shots on you, since they do give you your full stamina back as soon as you use them. And they're extremely cheap to make, so definitely make sure that you're bringing these in. Mistake number 8. Overcommitting in fights in places that you should be resetting. Trying to rush people that you think should be close to being downed is a great way at getting baited into traps and getting downed yourself. If instead you decide to bunker down behind cover to reset your health and shield, you're going to have a much better chance at staying alive. You could argue that doing this gives your opponents time to heal up as well, and that is true. So I would mainly reset only if you can't survive a shot or two. Pretty much, if I end up half health or lower with no shield, I'm doing a reset. This has probably costed me a few downs, but it's also definitely saved me from getting downed as well, so I would say that it's worth trying out. Mistake number 9. Reloading too much. Reloading too often is one thing that I see a ton of players doing, and honestly I still do this myself. When you're in a close quarter battle and have only shot a few bullets, you should definitely resist the urge to reload and try to trust that you have enough bullets to get the job done. If you don't end up having enough though, you can just whip out your raider tool to finish the job. Something like a level 4 Stitcher can spam reloads all day since they're super fast at that level, but the level 1 guns don't quite have that same privilege, so be conscious of whenever you commit to a reload. And mistake number 10. Letting enemies decide where the fight happens. Letting others decide where your fights happen is always a disadvantage, but even more so if you're in a bad spot and decide to just bunker down there for the sake of it. I try to keep a smoke grenade on me specifically for being able to escape from situations where people have me pinned down in awkward spots. The smokes usually last long enough for me to either escape completely or set up in a different spot to continue fighting. So don't hole up somewhere just because it's where the fight started off. And that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys were able to learn something new, and I will talk to all of you in the next one. See ya.